Hi, just a quick disclaimer here. Haley and I recorded this episode before the recent lawsuit of Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni came out. So the discussion we had about it was before that information. And it briefly touches on domestic violence. So in case that's triggering to anyone, just wanted to let you know. Now here's the episode. Enjoy. Rise and shine. It's time for D. It's for drama. I'm your host, Shannon D. And today I am joined by writer, director, and my friend from college, Hayley Kosan.
Hi.
Hello.
We were just saying how I haven't seen you since my 20s in person.
I know.
That was a long
was it
time ago.
Natasha's wedding?
Christ, probably. Did you? Oh, yes, you did go to that.
Yeah. We haven't seen each
20
other since we're like 2 divorces later.
Oh, yeah.
So our friend, the wedding that we went to, this was like 2018. She's
Yeah.
divorced and Haley is too.
Yeah. Tasha and I got divorced at this. I do recommend going through a divorce at the same time as your best friend.
Yeah, a little moral support.
Yeah.
Was it at the exact same time?
Just about. Everything was finalized. It was fucking crazy.
And we won't get too deep into it, but both of you were the ones that wanted it, right?
Yeah. We both
So that's also a better position to be in.
Yeah, that's also
it's still hard, but
my best friend was doing it, so I was like, well, I want to do it too.
She's doing it. We are friends from college, from ASU. So she also knows Jake in that friend group.
Yeah, crazy.
But she went to New York right after college.
Yeah, I said LA is too close to Arizona, so let me do the difficult thing and go to New York. And you're from Jersey, and you're such like an LA girl.
Yes.
But you're also very Jersey. I don't know. It's funny.
Yeah. Well, I do feel like because my one friend, Horace, they all know him. He wants to move here. And I've been like so upset about that. And part of me is like, oh, I guess I'll have to move here too if he's moving here. But I don't know. I just don't think I like it that much. It's too much concrete jungle for me.
Yeah, everything is difficult. Every single thing is difficult here. Just like walking down the street is exhausting.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, I always feel dirty.
Yeah. And it's like you could run into Michael Cera, or you could have like an unhoused person pull a knife on you.
Lick your face.
Lick your face. Yeah. It's really one or the other.
Well, today we have a topic: breakups, friendship, and romantic.
Yeah. Because friendship breakups can be fucking painful.
You know, I have heard a lot of people say that they are more painful sometimes than romantic ones, but I just don't know that that's true.
Yeah.
Do you think?
I've had some friendship breakups where it's not so much about just like personal friend stuff. It's more of it's like working together and then working on passion projects and things like that. And people just egos. And it's kind of like that kind of thing. So it's like, oh, fuck you. I don't want to deal with that.
So then it's easier to
it's never been like a personal, like,
on.
oh, you hurt me as a friend. So.
Yeah. Have you ever had any friendship ones where it was like there was no business involved? So it was like just all personal?
I mean, I had a friend in college who just started acting very odd. And I was like, I was like, this is kind of disturbing for me. Like, I felt like unsafe, and I was just like, I don't want this. And then I just like basically ghosted him. And over the years, he's tried to be like, what? And I'm just like, I don't know how to say, like, you were just creepy.
Yeah. Oh.
And I felt
was he
like
hitting on you?
Kind of.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's like a whole other thing.
Yeah, it was just really odd behavior, and I felt I just didn't know how to at the time. Like I was like 22 or something, and like didn't, and also I had friends with a bunch of other people, and I was like, I don't have the skill set and like the tools to set boundaries and tell this person. And I was just kind of like, I don't want to hurt your feelings, and I don't like conflict. I don't like conflict.
Yeah, same.
I'm deeply conflict averse.
Me too.
Until it gets to a point where I make like with strangers, like really terrible decision, like smashing a glass over someoe's head. Like that's a real story.
You did that?
To people in my like personal relationships, no. Yeah, to a stranger who's like being harassing me at a bar, I'll do that. But that's a different story.
God.
That's a different kind of beef.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do something like that.
Yeah, right? You gotta, like, I did it, and then I ran for my life out of the bar and left my date to fend for herself before I scrammed out of there like a Looney Tune character. And she was like writing the check, and I was like out the door, and I was like sobbing. I was like, oh my God, this guy's gonna But he was like blackout drunk and he was being creepy as hell.
Yeah.
And then he was like pouring his beer like down and he was like mumbling and be like, I don't like you. I don't like you gay. And pointing. And then finally I just like smashed a beer cone over his head, threw a chair across the bar, and then like left. And then the second I get out of the street, I'm like like
Terrified.
full girl mode. Like, I'm just little, please.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was
Don't blame me
just
for what
But
just
yeah, I hate
happened.
conflict until so that's something with my therapist I think I'm working on.
Well, I have had a friendship breakup, but we are friends again. We were just
Yeah.
talking about this earlier. We have had about like 3 different breakups, but
This is the relationship of your life. Like
it really
this is like your Nicholas Sparks novel relationship.
I know. I wonder if it's ever going to turn romantic one day.
Maybe for like I think it could for a second.
Good, yeah.
Then you're just wearing like linen like caftans and like for a hot second in your middle age and then you're back to being like best girlfriends.
I'm picturing us in Greece like a Mamma Mia moment. We ditched the men.
Yes. Yes.
You know what? It could happen. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
But I personally, like, I don't know. I've had that friendship breakup a few times over, and maybe I was just jaded by the third time that it happened, but it did weigh on my heart very heavily.
Yeah.
And I would have dreams about her a lot, and I would
Yeah.
like, you know, not in the caftans, but
Yeah.
maybe one day.
Because you were good friends, like childhood friends.
High school, yeah.
High school.
Yeah, since we were 14.
Yeah.
And then so for like a period of like 24 to like 30, we just weren't friends, and now we are. And it's like the best our relationship has ever been.
Yeah.
But I think potentially we've both set boundaries. We're not, because before it almost like we almost did rely on each other during our early 20s as if we were each other's romantic partner, like emotionally. And we
Yeah.
would text every day, all day. And if we didn't text, like if we missed a couple days, it would be like, oh, there's an issue. We just became way too codependent.
That's
and I think
really
we really
fascinating.
did need that time to.
That's what happened with me with a friend who I was like doing comedy with. But also I was in a relationship at the time, and this girl was just a friend of mine. And it felt like she like needed me. It was like treated me as like her romantic partner and like very codependent. And it like was not, and that ended up in the end, like we're no longer friends. It like blew up.
Yeah, there's not really a way to go back from that intimate of a relationship, like a friendship, and I feel like it has to kind of explode. You can find your way back to each other, but it's hard to kind of like digress.
Yeah, where else? It's like you're young and you don't have the ability to set boundaries, and really, you like as we get older, it's much easier to regulate and be like, hey, I love you. Let's figure out a way that this works.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Should we make this a therapy podcast?
I think we should.
I love to talk about regulation.
Regulation. She's in therapy, folks.
I'm in therapy.
I don't know if you heard the news. But before we get into the stories about breakups, we are going to talk about some feuds of the year. Betches just came out with their Betches of the Year. They do this, I guess, every year. I didn't know about this, but their one was called Feud of the Year. And it was Drake and Kendrick, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni from It Ends With Us, Chapel Roan and the Paparazzi, the U.S. gymnastics team, and Michaela Skinner, which I did not know about this one.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that one. And Nicki and Megan.
Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion. And I followed the U.S. gymnastics team really closely this year. My sister was a gymnast, so I love gymnastics. And I was just watching it. I didn't get the tea, which is surprising. I love getting the tea. But the only one I knew of, and I really wasted a whole week of my life on this.
Yeah, so you're deep in the juice.
Yes,
can you
Blake and Justin.
Yeah, can you explain this?
So the year is 2024. The month August. Yes,
I don't know. You
August.
tell me. I don't. I
And,
don't remember.
and the drama came out that Justin Baldoni was not doing any press with his co-stars.
Right, because he directed the movie as
Yes.
well.
Yeah. He directed
Okay.
it. He was the lead, who was a abuser. His character was.
Mm.
But the thing about this movie is that they were promoting it like it was a girly rom-com.
Yeah, that's from the outside. I didn't know it was a book. I had no idea what it was about. And knowing, I mean, the casting of Blake Lively and like the posters and anything I saw, it was like,
Florals.
yeah, it was very like her, like that movie that she did, Age of
Oh,
Adelaide or something
yes,
like
yes,
that. Like it was
yes.
very in her repertoire of like these like rom-coms or like dramedies kind of thing. So I
And
was
she was
like,
saying, grab your florals. Colleen Hoover, the author, was doing the same thing. Grab your florals, grab your girls. And this is the problem with movies these days. They are not advertising them correctly.
no.
They're not advertising them as musicals because the studios want people to come to them, and they know a lot of people don't like
Yeah,
musicals.
what was the musical of that?
Mean Girls.
That's right.
And people had no idea because Mean Girls is not originally a musical. It was
Right.
a movie turned musical, then turned back into a movie.
Yeah.
And so they weren't advertising it that way. So I almost kind of feel like the studio was in on not advertising it as a domestic violence movie, which so many people who have triggers around that topic went to see the
Oh,
movie and were
yeah.
like completely triggered. So then that's also once all the drama started too, because once people started seeing the movie, they were like, oh shit, this is what you've been advertising when saying grab your florals.
Wow.
And so then they started noticing that Justin wasn't doing press with Blake and the rest of the cast. And then Justin got the same PR team as Johnny Depp when he was going through the Amber Heard stuff.
Woof. Okay, that doesn't look great for Justin.
I know.
That's not a good move.
I know. I know.
Woof.
And I do think a lot of people were saying, like, well, first of all, the whole internet was Team Justin. And they were kind of saying, well, Blake and Ryan Reynolds, her husband, are like, America's sweetheart power couple or whatever.
Yeah.
And so
Questionable.
I know, questionable.
But
And that he would probably need like a stronger backing.
okay.
But then the internet, of course, turned on Blake, and they were saying how
We
much
love to hit a white blonde woman when she's down.
literally.
Watch out, Shannon.
I know they're coming for me. But that's what I was also saying is because, look, I'm not going to lie. I was sick the week that this all went down. So I was just scrolling on my phone all day. Like one day I literally didn't do anything else but scroll through.
It's okay. I'm chronically online and
Yeah.
I'm proud of it.
Yeah. All right, fine.
My
I wasn't
screen
sick
time
that
is
week,
like
no.
7 hours a day. Now I have one of these app blockers.
Oh, yes, yes,
And
yes.
it like roasts me. I'll get like notifications that it's like now within the last week or so, it has these notifications that pop up. It's like, wow,
Wow, Hayley.
your phone is your best friend, you fucking loser. Like it's like literally like roast, and I'm like,
Wait, really? It's
yeah.
like Duolingo?
yeah,
That's amazing.
it roasts me, and I'm like, well, it's winter. I got nothing else to do.
yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
Or what do they call it in the winter when you're
Winter madness, depression, seasonal depression, sad.
just sad. So anyway, and then but all these clips kept popping up of Blake from previous press tours being a CUNT.
Oh
Next
yes.
Tuesday with this woman, this one reporter, I don't know how to say, Kirsty Flaw, which also she was kind of monetizing on the moment, monopolizing the moment there by posting a old interview with her and Parker Posey.
Yes.
Oh, and she said, the reporter said to Blake, congratulations on your little bump. And then Blake said back, oh, congrats on your little bump.
Yeah.
So
I remember that.
Yeah, there was a lot of these videos that were resurfacing of Blake really not looking good.
Yeah.
And the one story that Blake's team leaked was that Justin asked somebody how much Blake weighed because he was going to have to pick her up and he has back issues. So then the whole internet globbed onto that being like, he has back issues. That's why he was asking. But I still always go back to that. I have just noticed that we are still villainizing women.
Yeah.
And I always try and look at it with a grain of salt because I'm like, I know that there are bad women out there. Like, I know that not all women are perfect. So there
Yeah.
are going to be situations where a woman was the one that was in the wrong. But it's hard for me to ever tell if they are actually the one in the wrong or if it's just the world being misogynistic fucks.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, wasn't she also like promoting like a hairline or like a makeup line during this?
I forgot about that. Yes, she was
So
promoting her makeup or
that
her
I remember.
hairline.
Okay, her hairline, like during this. So that's what I remember being like. Hold on, this thing about domestic violence, and you worried about hairspray? I do, yeah. But it's also like there's always two sides, right? It's like, well, he directed. Did he write it too? And
He
he like
didn't
a
write
producer.
it. I think so, yeah, but I think she was too.
She was also.
And
So it's
Ryan
like
was kind of getting his hands in the mix too. So I just think that they had a lot of differing opinions on.
there's a lot of creative differences,
I think that's
and
what
then also press differences.
yeah, and so I think that
Interesting.
he was wanting, yeah, he just wanted it to go differently. I think he wanted them to advertise it differently as well because the press tour he was doing was focusing very much on that while she was doing something different. Because apparently he's been like an advocate of domestic violence for a while. So I don't know.
That's tough. It's tough. There's two sides.
Mhm.
There's everyone's perspective and like experience of the truth, and also like, yeah, I mean, it's still pretty misogynistic in just like in the industry, period. And like, I mean I made a joke about it earlier. It's like you're like, people always, especially people who seem to have it all or have a certain lifestyle or what have you, getting knocked down is still something that we do. That's why I mean, bringing up the beef with like Chaperone, that's why I really respect her of calling out these paparazzi and being like, you were a fucking dick to me.
Yeah, so what was that one about?
I saw this one clip at like the VMAs or an award show or a red carpet.
Mhm.
She goes up to the paparazzi and she like calls him out on the carpet. Was like, you were a fucking asshole to me.
Oh,
Or
I love
something.
that.
I love it. It's like, dude, why not? I just saw a 60 minutes with Kate Winslet and how she got ripped apart from like the Titanic press.
Oh, yeah,
Remember that
calling
back
her
in the day?
fat.
Calling her fat when she's a fucking size 4,
Yeah, literally.
4'6", something like that. And then it's like, apparently in private, told those media people to like fuck off. But like,
Good for her.
why the fuck not do, like, these women shouldn't be treated like this.
No.
It's just absolutely.
And I understand that, like, you know, paparazzi, it is a profession. It is their job. They're trying to put,
Is it?
I mean, but, I mean, it is, but then it goes back to then, aren't we still like always yearning for knowing what they're doing? Like, I don't care, but a lot of the world is always like, what are celebrities doing? It's
Yeah.
a vicious cycle.
Yeah, true. But do we need pictures of like Lindsay Lohan at 3 a.m. getting out of a bar?
That's true.
It's crazy.
Although those are some iconic shots from back in the day. But
back in the day, sure. But like, yeah, I mean,
but also they have their social media now. We
Yeah.
don't really need the paparazzi to follow them anymore. Back then, that was our only access to them.
true.
So now, be gone.
Yeah, it's just a horrible profession, and they're all part-time magicians, I think, and it's just very strange behavior.
Yeah.
And we don't
I'm
need
not a
it.
fan. We don't need it anymore.
We don't need it.
They
But
have their
if
own social media and they can control their own goddamn narrative.
Yes, but I will say, have you been paparazzi'd before?
No.
I did. I was at an event with my girlfriend, and there was like the main red carpet, and then there was a bunch of people. And I will say, titillating.
I bet.
I'm bad. It was great. We're like holding hands, and it's like, oh, don't look. And then I like kind of look
Yeah,
over.
you have to like act like you don't
And it's
see
like,
them.
oh,
You don't see these
oops.
bright flashes.
And now, of course, the next day I'm going to like Getty.
Did they turn out good?
I look like you know that meme of like the pit bull that's just in the elevator by itself?
Oh, yeah.
That is just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, that's what I look like.
Oh my God.
I'm
Send
like,
me these
oh,
photos.
yeah,
I'll post them on my Instagram.
It's so funny. It's like, I thought I looked so cool. And then I was like, all right, well.
You thought you were giving like Justin Bieber and Hayley.
Truly.
And you were giving Pitbull in the elevator.
Yeah.
With the Team Justin and Team Blake, 64% were Team Justin and 36% were Team Blake. I'm a little surprised by that. I mean, I thought a lot more people were going to be Team Justin, but I think people are maybe seeing what I'm throwing down with the
Yeah.
whole villainizing the ladies.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate women, but I think in this case, just using a hairline to promote a movie about
I
domestic violence
know.
is a hard line for
And,
me.
and the Deadpool thing, they
What was
were doing
that?
it like Deadpool and Wolverine came out the same weekend and they were like dueling.
Oh,
It was all just like she should have just made a movie that was like cutesy
yeah.
if she wanted to. I mean, I know she got cast in it. She wasn't.
Do you think America Ferrera and like the other sister pants? Do you think they
Oh,
talk? Do you think the four of them talk anymore?
I do not think so. Have you
Yeah.
seen those clips of America so over her during like press tours of Sister of the Traveling Pants?
Oh, really? Like during the first, they made two of them, right?
Yeah, I don't know which one it was, but she was like rolling her eyes because Blake was promoting Gossip
Oh,
Girl during it. No.
I don't. Yeah, Amber and America seem like real ones. I think Alexis Bledel, where's she been? She's just taken like Gilmore Girls residuals.
Yeah.
She's just like, yeah, that's Blake is just a particular interesting case.
Yeah. And I used to love her because I loved the
Mm.
character of Bridget on Sister of the Traveling
Yeah.
Pants.
She was the cool one. She was like the soccer girl.
Yes.
I remember that.
And I was a big fan of the books and like her storyline with how she was fucking her soccer coach. That
Yeah.
was so hot.
Yeah. That's very Bend It Like Beckham.
Yeah.
Right? That was like, she was like our American Keira Knightley.
Yeah,
We wanted the
exactly.
best for her. We really hoped for the best for
We
Blake
really
Lively.
did.
Yeah. Well,
I would say that I'm probably Team Justin too, but
Yeah.
I'm a little quizzical about it.
yeah.
All right, now you're gonna tell me about the Kendrick versus Drake.
Wow. My source comes from America's Nepo baby, Chet Hanks. So this summer, he posted a screenshot of a conversation between his father, two-time Academy Award winner Tom Hanks, and himself, and Pops in the phone. This is a real text message. He says, "Big man, can you explain the Drake Kendrick Lamar feud to me?" And you just know Chet was like, "Dad, I've been waiting my whole life for this." Big man.
It's my time to shine.
Big man.
Colin has always been the favorite, but here
clearly.
I come.
Clearly. And then, okay, so it's actually perfect because, yeah, he actually really breaks it down really well. And then he writes, yeah, so Drake and this other dude, J. Cole, has been saying, along with Kendrick, that they're the big three in rap. Drake, Cole, and Kendrick.
Oh.
Right? Okay.
I didn't know J. Cole was of that level.
He's good. Yeah. He's like, he's up there, right?
I always think of him more as like Jason Derulo.
Oh no, not like that at all
Okay,
with
he's
his
like
music.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yes, he's good. He actually went and played in an NBA affiliate league in Africa. Like there's like the G League in the NBA and like they have an African league and he went and played like professional basketball. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Wow. Be ballin'.
Yeah. So they all kind of have like relationships to basketball too, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so then Kendrick put out a song saying, "Fuck the big three, it's just big me," initiating the beef. He's like, "No, you guys are not on my level."
Okay.
Okay. Then Drake was like, "You got small feet because you're 5'5" or whatever. And then Kendrick was like, "You're deadbeat dad," and made fun of his Canadian accent. So there's in one of the songs, he's like, "You don't know how to raise your son because you're never around," basically.
Shots fired.
Like, you don't know how to be a dad. Drake came back and was like, "Oh yeah, well, I heard you beat your wife." But literally like 30 seconds later, Kendrick put out a diss overshadowing Drake's diss, where he pretty much methodically dismantled Drake's entire psyche and called him a pedophile.
Oh, yeah.
Certified lover boy, certified pedophile for flirting with like Millie Bobby Brown, right? We all like have seen that. Remember?
That is so inappropriate.
Yeah, he's doing all that weird, creepy shit like that.
Asking
even
her who
like
she's dating.
Yeah, like moms on
15.
Facebook even have seen that. Like they know it's fucking creepy.
She went on talk shows and was talking about it because she had no idea it was inappropriate.
Yeah. And then okay, so Drake came out with a song and then Kendrick did, and then Kendrick literally like days later I think came out with a song on top of it. He like doubled down.
Mm-hmm.
And they're fucking great. I don't even know what song Drake released. this summer. The Kendrick
Everyone's
songs have just been on the radio 24/7. Also, like all the NBA players will ride with Kendrick. The Canadian players like have to say they
Oh,
stick with
yeah.
Drake.
Degrassi days, baby.
Yeah, but they don't fuck with Drake.
Really?
I guarantee, but they have to. So there's a lot. Yeah, it's also like a lot of interesting like NBA basketball drama because Drake is like thinks he plays for the Toronto Raptors.
How does he think that? Does
'Cause
he?
He like sits courtside and like. And he makes fun of Kendrick like being like 5'5". Kendrick is a small guy. He's tiny.
is.
He's a tiny guy.
Oh, okay.
A lot of them are very small. We just
lot of
don't know.
actors
A lot
are.
of people, yeah. I guarantee Kendrick could beat Drake's ass at basketball.
Maybe that's what they should do next.
I think that's truly what it should be. Yeah. Because Drake has a NBA regulation basketball court in his mansion.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he puts on a basketball tournament every year. And his team, I don't know if you know, they end up winning every year.
Sounds fishy to me.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I think their beef needs to, I think they need to
one-on-one,
play one-on-one, and then it would be solved.
There we go. All right, who are you? Your team, Kendrick.
I'm with Kendrick.
I did polls on my Instagram and you guys all voted. Team Kendrick is 85% and Team Drake is 15%. With the US one, Team Michaela is 0%. Team Simone is 100.
Can you have your readers like explain the Michaela stuff?
Yeah, maybe I'll have them.
I would love to. I would love to have someone like explain this.
Yeah, I don't know that one at all. Maybe I can get my sister too because she's in
Oh,
on
yeah.
the gymnastics stuff. And then this one's surprising. Team Chapel 78%, Team Paparazzi 22. Who's voting for the Paps?
The paparazzi.
Oh yeah, it must be them. I do have a lot of paparazzi listeners.
Oh, they're gonna hate me. Sorry, guys. I love your magic tricks.
Yeah.
Love them.
You're making me lose listeners
Oh
here.
fuck! I'm gonna get fucking doxxed so hard.
No, I don't know anything about this one. Do you?
I don't know any new information about
Team
them.
Nikki, Team Megan. Okay, so 68% were Team Megan and 32% were Team Nikki. Harajuku Barbie. Well, thank you guys for playing. All right, this segment is two sides to every pancake. So we are going to get the wife's side first. I am going to divorce my husband of 10 years. My husband and I met when I was 18. It has always been just me and my best friend, but when my husband came along, we became an inseparable trio. For me, it was love at first sight. I had the biggest crush on him, but didn't want to ruin the friendship thing, so I kept it to myself until he confessed to me when we were 20. Things went fast and we got married when we were 22. My best friend got married too, and we all have remained close. We had invited my best friend and her husband around for dinner, and we were joking about the things we got up to, and my husband brought up how he always had a crush on my best friend, but then she got a boyfriend, so he settled for me instead. When I tell you my whole world just came crashing down, I realized my marriage of 10 years was him settling for second best, that I was never his first option. After that, everything he did just started to annoy me. He just stopped being attractive to me anymore. We haven't slept together in 6 months because I feel so disgusted. I just want out. I feel like I've wasted my life. I'm disappointed in him and myself for believing I was the one he liked. Edit, my husband knows about the divorce. I told my best friend and she told my husband. So I came home to a, quote, don't leave him intervention where they all wanted to work it out. I have never been so confused because for the past 6 months, I have been trying to ask him what he feels and what he meant by his comment, and for him to answer my questions, like literally to the point where I was screaming in his face to just tell me, and he's been saying nothing. And she has been encouraging me to talk to him, but keeping her distance. I thought it was because she didn't like him. Apparently, she just thinks we are perfect together and he doesn't want to lose what we have. What do we have? We're basically just roommates who have sex at this point. I am going to stay at my mom's. Okay, so that's her side.
Whoa.
How?
Okay.
I don't even know if I could ever look past that.
Okay. Well, when he said this, was it in private or it was they were all together hanging out?
They were all together, the four of them, like the best friend that he was in love with and her new husband.
That's a castle full of red flags.
Yeah.
Why would you? I mean, I'm assuming they're like drinking or like whatever, but what would compel you to say that?
Because who would that ever like To no party involved would that be a good thing to hear.
No. No.
Definitely not your wife. Weird as fuck to say that to her best friend who you've been friends with for 20 years, basically. And then her husband's sitting right there.
I mean, yeah, she just was like humiliated.
Someone did ask, how did they respond to his confession? And she said, it was so awkward. My best friend just said she didn't realize and knew that I, meaning OP, had always had a crush on him. Then we just changed the subject and they made an excuse to leave quickly as they could while remaining polite. I got a call later that night from her checking on me, and she told me her husband was so angry for both of us because it wasn't just putting me on the spot, but her as well. I was just relieved it didn't ruin our friendship, to be honest. And then she said, I think he thought it was just going to be funny. Like, I don't think he understood the gravity of what he said. And now he can't understand why I'm upset. He's only seeing it from his point of view, which is that this was all in the past and he has moved on. But it's not in the past for me because I never knew. And now I'm looking back and seeing all the things and questioning them. So I needed reassurance that he didn't think he needed to give because it's in the past for him. Okay, so he was saying it as if she was the one that got away, basically.
Yeah, that's what I interpreted from that. It's like, oh, well, I've always had a big crush on you.
That would be the worst thing to ever hear. Like, I don't know that I would ever be able to get over that. I mean,
no,
you're ruining that friendship too, because how could you ever not kind of compare yourself to her? Seems like he was just trying to get like a rise out of her, maybe.
It feels like a thing men would do.
Yeah.
Is that a thing men do?
I would assume so.
I don't have a lot of experience. Women would do that. Lesbians also would do that, to be fair, but they would switch partners. Everybody would just have a foursome.
Yeah, in this scenario, it would just be like, let's all just fuck instead. Yeah. That would be the reaction.
Yeah.
Well, that happened to you, remember?
Yeah, in
college.
Well, not specific. I didn't have a foursome. That makes me sound really cool. But yeah, we all just, it was like the L word. It was like everybody was like,
she was dating a woman. And then these other two couple were together, and then they literally swapped partners.
Yeah.
And I lived for the lesbian drama.
You really did.
It was so good.
There was a lot of tea.
It's just unlike anything that most hetero couples ever deal with.
Yeah, that's very true. It's like, well, I'm kind of into her, but I'm with you. Like, that is that's college level lesbian drama.
That's happening here.
What he did.
Yeah, he's trying to do the old swapperoo. I think that's what he was hoping would happen, was just like, let's just swap it out here.
It's weird.
So kooky. We did have one person that commented and said that she said, what a story. Mine has some similarities with yours. I married my husband while knowing that he had an unrequited crush on a woman he had known since they were 14. On our wedding night, he cried because now he could never marry her. I should have had the marriage annulled the next day. Instead, I wasted almost 10 years with this sniveling child. I was clearly in last place with him. He never tried to assure me that he loved me and couldn't even bring himself to ask me to stay. The self-esteem there.
Shit, no shit. What about the childhood girlfriend? Where is she even? Like, she's probably like, what the fuck, dude? Why are you crying on your wedding night about me?
Oh, she probably doesn't even remember.
She doesn't even remember. Or she's like happy.
Do you ever think that you're this person for somebody? Like, I kind of wish that I'm the one that got away for somebody that would just like live out my dream. Who's that author?
Or like Katy Perry, the one that got away.
My Katy Perry dream.
That by America's most prolific
cosplayer of lesbians.
Yeah, like fucking gay baiting.
I remember,
when that song came out, I was still like in the closet, and I was like, I hate this song. It's gross.
Yeah.
A fucking internalized homophobia.
What's raging?
Just raging. Wow. I mean, yeah, we all fantasize like we're the one that got away, but I don't think anyone's really sitting up being like,
that Hayley Kosan.
Damn, that old HK. Like, I don't think, I mean.
If I am that for you out there, can you guys please write in?
Same. Can you please let me know?
All right, let's hear the man's side.
Yes.
I destroyed my marriage with a stupid comment. When I met my wife, I didn't really think much of her. She was funny, kind, and a good friend, but I had no other interest. Her friend, Sarah, was gorgeous. She had long red hair and these soft freckles and long eyelashes. She was my dream girl, but she was not interested in me. I noticed my wife Amber was hanging out with me more, laughing at my jokes, listening to me, and it made me consider having more of a relationship with her. Sarah got a boyfriend about a year into us being friends, and her interest in our friendship dwindled. She hung out with us less and spent more time with her boyfriend, which left me and Amber alone a lot. I ended up giving up on Sarah and focusing on Amber, and we started dating and got married. We kept our friendship with Sarah, but we focused on each other. But in the back of my mind, it always felt like I had missed out on something. My marriage was boring. Amber and I were basically friends, and I was working hard to save for a house, and she was working hard to save for our future kids. So we were existing alongside each other, not actually together. Hayley's mouth is just completely agape this entire time.
So this is
Just wait.
wow.
So one day when we were all at dinner, I got jealous of Sarah and her husband, who seemed happy, and made a comment about settling for Amber. Amber shut down after that. She kept repeating the same questions over and over and over, and it would make me so angry that I didn't want to answer. So I didn't. I guess that was my first bad move. Sarah messaged me after the dinner to check if I was okay, and we kept messaging. She was just assuring me that I did nothing wrong and it would work out.
What?
Then I got a text from Amber saying that she was planning to divorce me. So Sarah came over and we tried to stop Amber from leaving me, but it seemed to only make things worse. Sarah saw how distraught I was and stayed to comfort me, and we drank, and in a drunk, stupid mistake, we ended up sleeping together. Sarah confessed to her husband that we slept together, and her husband told Amber. Now both our marriages are ruined. I regret it so much, and I just wish I could take it back.
Does he though?
I don't think so.
I don't think none of that says I regret it. You
No,
didn't.
he's giddy.
He's giddy.
He got to fuck the girl of his dreams, the soft freckled maven.
Which, like, tag yourself, really? Who hasn't? Okay. So they can just be together. So because like now,
yeah, they're gone.
They're
the problem's gone. What are you
Holy
complaining
shit.
about?
Wow.
Jackass.
Yeah.
Well, let's start from the top. He didn't think much of her.
No.
She was funny. She was kind.
She was just there.
She was a good friend, but she didn't have soft freckles and long eyelashes and flowing red hair. And did you notice he doesn't once say a non-physical feature about Sarah?
Right.
Not once.
Yeah.
But his wife is all these other things.
Yeah.
I mean, if that ain't a man's mind, I don't know what
She
is.
just so hot. Me must be with.
I almost wonder if it's like, now that he's done it, is it like
the fantasy's over?
The fantasy's gone.
It's just like, yeah, it's like something to conquer and then be like, oh, yeah. And that's why it's like I ruined my marriage just over this, like
something that was a fantasy that was really not as good in real life.
Wow.
We do.
But then like, but the wife suspected all of this pretty much, right?
That
like
from prior?
Yeah, like feeling like she.
I don't think so.
She didn't. And then he just dropped this bomb.
Well, it says here that for her, it was love at first sight and she had the biggest crush on him. But nowhere does she ever say, like, I thought he had a crush on my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
But then homeboy just randomly at this double date decides that he's jealous and wants to confess, hoping that Sarah would jump on his dick in that moment.
Damn. They both settled. They both kind of settled in for different reasons. And then he stayed around so he could be close to this friend.
Yeah, like, why not? It's not like these are the only two women left on the world, on the planet.
But I mean, for men, they feel that way because they don't have many options. From what I've been told and like
what she's gathered.
yeah, from what I've gathered, because nobody want to be having sex with them because they're awful.
I probably have like 3 male listeners, and now I have 0 after this episode.
Oh man, I'm gonna get doxxed really bad. I'm sorry.
No, fuck that. We're in the 4B movement right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Both of you? Great.
And-
She's so much better off.
And I do feel like if you had these like gut-wrenching feelings for this person and you realize that they don't like you, wouldn't you want to get as far away from that as possible?
Yeah.
Not to their best friend, where then you have to literally see this person every week of your life for
Yeah.
the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Maybe he just felt like, I'll be able to get over these feelings.
Maybe.
Maybe he felt that way.
But the friend, Sarah fucked the husband.
I know, that's so bad. That's why I
So
was
they
wondering in the beginning.
clearly had a fucking chemistry. They clearly had something going on.
Do you think it was just her ego?
Maybe.
Like, because I know whenever I find out that someone has feelings for me, I'm kind of like, oh, okay. Even if I didn't have a single little fucking inkling of ever wanting to like them in the real world,
That's
I never
true.
would.
It kind of makes
But
it.
it does like give you a little, for like a split second, you're on this like high of just like your ego gets confused
That's
about
very
your
true.
actual emotions.
That's very true.
So I feel like she was probably like, now she's looking back and she's thinking of like all these moments that they had, and it's always kind of, naughty anyway.
That's
and that
true.
fantasy. And so they probably both were like, when they were having sex this time, were probably feeling like the passion was like crazy, and then afterwards they probably had that, what do they call it, like post nut clarity, where
Yeah.
it's just like, fuck, what did we just do?
I also pictured all 4 of them as like 22-year-old Mormons who have like no emotional intelligence whatsoever and are like cosplaying marriage. And
so
so
it's
they're
not just the men catching strays, it's the Mormons too on this podcast.
Yeah, I pictured like, love Secret Lives, Mormon vibes. So that's what I pictured. It was
Amazing
like
show.
it was like you're adults.
Well, that's what they do on that. Remember,
Technically.
they were all swingers and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, but it's like no person in their right mind would say, oh well, I've always had a thing for you in front of all these other people, unless you're just, it's like you're an adult but you're cosplaying like this fucking 13-year-olds or something. It's so strange.
Yeah, when I think they're they're like early 30s. So you're too old for this shit.
Yeah, you're too old for that.
But also they got
No
married
way.
so young. So it's almost like
That's
now
true.
that they're
Then
this
you're like
age,
stunted.
Yeah. And then also they're probably feeling like, oh my God, what have I done with my life? I mean,
that's very true.
You probably had this situation too.
True.
Like you started over in your 30s. Like,
yeah.
And more power to you, to people that need to do that. But this is not the way to go about it.
Correct. And the thing, it's very scary at first. It's very scary. And it's like, I was in a relationship for 10 years and then it's over. And it's really weird. It's also saying like you're divorced is like weird. It's like a weird thing. But also you move past it and your life is not over.
Yeah. And you're not defined by that.
Yeah.
You don't have to go around being like, hi, I'm Hayley, I'm divorced.
Yeah. And it's you move past it and you realize you're so much better off. They like all of these people should never speak to each other again.
Yeah, truly.
They should all leave Utah.
Yeah.
And they all have to like figure out what they actually want. They all weren't in relationships that they wanted, or in some capacity there was things that needed to change. That's why all of this happened to every single person. So then you have to figure out, so you really do have another chance to figure out like, okay, what do I really want?
Yeah. Well, we have another, I am curious what Sarah's husband thinks about all this. Like, are they going to be able to move past this?
Yeah, that's fucking, I mean, if I were him, I would be so pissed at the other husband.
Yeah. And the fact that your wife actually acted on it. Like, on the car ride home, the two of them were probably like laughing at him.
This is very Big Little Lies.
It really is.
This is very, Reese Witherspoon needs to fucking produce the shit out of this.
She does.
She would do so good on the Reddit threads. That's where she needs to be.
That is.
Stop doing these books. Just find a Reddit thread.
A Reddit thread.
Oh,
Well, actually,
wow.
we've got another wrench that gets thrown into it.
Okay, wow.
He deleted a bunch of stuff, but apparently someone said in a comment somewhere, he said that he has slept with Sarah like 6 years ago. So still within his marriage, but before she was married. And then
Well,
somebody else said apparently he was sleeping with her for the first 4 years of their marriage until she got married.
whoa.
So it wasn't the first
Okay, so it's
time.
more than just a crush. He was just basically admitting like, okay, well, I miss fucking you. And like wanted
Mm-hmm.
to stir shit up
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah, so there was so much else going on behind the scenes, like in
Yeah.
Sarah's mind too. She's probably like, "Oh my God, shut the fuck up. Why are you gonna say anything
He
right
just did
now?"
it in the most man way possible instead of just saying in private to his wife, hey, I've been cheating on you, X, Y, or Z.
Evil people.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of red flags.
Yeah. They need to it's almost like what you were saying earlier where it's like they're stunted and they're still living like they're college kids
Yeah.
and still getting a rise out of these, you know, situations that probably would have flown back in the day where it's like, you know,
Right.
partners switching partners and people thought like I have so many friends that took their boyfriends back like anytime that they would cheat on them, and
Yeah.
back in those days it was what it was, and we
Yeah.
didn't our frontal cortexes weren't developed, so and we just wanted to be having fun.
Yeah. That
You guys
is
need to grow up.
woof. I want to hear from I want to hear from the husband. I want to hear from the other wife. Once they're divorced, I want to know everything. I'm fucking deep in this.
Yeah.
This is wild.
The comment says, "Good Lord, he never says anything about her but her looks. He's
Yeah.
just one of those guys who is fixated on a girl without knowing anything about her beyond her porn category."
Woof.
And then somebody else responds and goes, "Let's be fair though, the freckles were soft."
Ooh, them freckles soft.
Shall we move on to a friendship breakup?
Yeah.
I had a friend of 18 years that I have grown apart from in the last few years. I still like him as a person, but we have nothing in common anymore. He has zero interest in what I like to do, and I have zero interest in what he likes to do. We did have similar interests years ago when I was younger and unmarried and not working so hard, etc., but things changed. The problem is he still wanted to hang out as often as we did when I was 18, leaving less time for the friends I do enjoy hanging out with. Now, with every other normal person, I feel that the two parties can sense when they are growing apart and they just start to talk less, hang out less, etc. And this is what I tried to do. I didn't message back as much, didn't return calls, didn't initiate hangouts, etc. He didn't take the hint, and I think it was mostly due to the fact that his relationship was falling apart and he really had no one else to talk to. For years, we would hang out and he would just let loose on all the problems. And I told him the same thing every time: break up, break up, break up. I like both of them and I thought it was the best thing for both parties. As you can imagine, this got exhausting as hell. So in turn, I tried to distance more and more. This only led to him getting more and more frustrated. I hadn't spoke to him in a month or so, but I finally responded to him asking how he was holding up. He let it all air out. He had just broken up with his girlfriend. He was going to move out, but they were now stuck together and he was unsure about work prospects. Genuinely some tough shit. He let me have it because he was angry at me for not being there for him. Now, as bad as I felt, I just had to tell him the truth. I outlined all of the above and told him I haven't really been enjoying being friends with him for years. I just hate the piss poor timing. Worse, since I did tell him that I would be there for him during his breakup. I know he feels abandoned. He never responded to my message, and I do want to ask him how he was doing. But to be honest, I feel mostly relieved that a huge weight is off my shoulders.
That's just really, really, yeah, tough timing. They really nailed it. Because you can, I mean, for 18 years and then you realize you don't have anything in common. You just grow apart. You grow apart.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely hard going from, I mean, I don't know, they didn't say how old they were, but sounds like maybe high school or something,
Yeah.
to go through all those different stages and be an adult and still have enough, and not that you have to have the same common interests, but like you have to be able to hold conversations and laugh
Yeah.
and have a good time together. Like I don't really believe in like your interests having to align. But I guess then you don't have anything to talk about, I
Yeah, or
guess.
it's like you just evolve as people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 19 years, 18 years, that's a long time. Like you change tremendously. And so then also if this person is always saying, I think you should break up with them and giving advice and they're not listening and it becomes resentful in a way. And it's like, well, I'm telling you, I'm trying to help. You are trying to help in some way. And then just hearing the same thing over and over, you're going
It
to
is
become resentful and it's
hard.
going to push them away. And then if you also just don't feel like you're growing, even in any relationship, you have to grow together, especially in your romantic relationship. You always have to be growing together. In your friendships, you always have to be growing together in some way. Or you just and like people grow apart but
I do also think that friendships of this long lasting can go through big waves of ebbs and
oh,
flows
that's interesting.
of how close you are at any
Mhm.
specific time.
Mhm.
And I've definitely had this happen to me. And sometimes I'm like really super close with them. And then other times we are just a little bit more distant and then something distant. And then something will happen and then like we'll kind of come back together again.
Yeah.
And it's not like during that time there's necessarily a huge issue. It's just that we're growing apart in that particular time. So that's why I almost do feel like it's like, why do you even have to say that to him like so abruptly and like end the friendship essentially? Because these
Mhm.
are kind of like fighting words and
True.
ending the friendship. So why? I guess because he's feeling defensive because it sounds like his friend just went the fuck off on him because
Yeah.
he's obviously clearly hurt and he feels abandoned,
Also,
especially
this
because
is two guys. Do we know that?
oh, I guess not. But oh, I guess I'm being heteronormative.
I'm just assuming they're men.
Oh, well, he said he. The friend is definitely a guy. I feel like they're both men.
I feel like yeah.
But it does kind of feel like it's like nail on the coffin
Mhm.
of saying, you know, I haven't enjoyed being your friend for years. And also it's like, why are you having to then kind of you're twisting the knife by
Yeah.
saying I haven't enjoyed being your friend for years.
That's very brutal. That's very rough. Yeah. Both things can be true, right? Like
Yes.
you can be unhappy in a friendship and be saying it, but within the way it was done was very painful.
Especially because
They're
you're kicking him while he's down.
yeah, like
He's
going
going
through like
through
work shit and like a breakup.
which you'd been telling him to do for
Yeah.
so long. I feel like his friend, he finally reaches back out. Opie finally reaches back out to his friend, and then his friend goes off on him because he feels abandoned. And then instead of kind of taking responsibility for abandoning him and addressing that, he then gets really defensive, acts from his ego,
Yeah.
and tells him, well, I haven't been answering you because I don't enjoy your friendship and fuck you, I'm done. Like
Yeah.
the timing, I mean, he says piss poor timing. Yeah, you shouldn't have done it then,
Yeah.
if at all.
Yeah.
I do understand speaking your truth, but I think when your friend is really hurting, this ain't the time, honey.
Yeah. I would also like to know a bit more about their friendship and like why they have grown apart beyond just like and why they don't like spending time together.
Yeah, he does say here that like he wanted to hang out with him as often as they did when they were 18. Okay, so they're like 36 now, it sounds like maybe. In their 30s, I guess. And kind of what we were saying before earlier in this episode where this person you become too codependent on your friendships and you're wanting to hang out
Yeah.
so much. And in our 30s,
Yeah.
like I don't hang out with anyone the way I used to hang out with in my
No.
20s.
I don't talk to my best friend for
Yeah,
months.
literally.
She lives on the other
Natasha,
side of the
call her.
call me. Also, I can call you. It
Yeah.
works both ways. But we will go months without speaking and then be like, "Hey, okay, love you," and like we'll
But in
catch
those
up.
scenarios, it's kind of like that's a mutual understanding, because I have
Yes.
best friends like that too,
Yes.
especially living across the country.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
have a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
of friends like
Yeah, yeah,
that,
yeah.
and it's like you don't skip a beat.
Exactly.
But then there are those friendships, like I was saying earlier, that if you go a few days without talking, then it's like, well, what's wrong? That's when
Uh,
it becomes this like enmeshed
yeah.
friendship
Yeah, and that's
that is
bad.
acting more like a relationship than it is a healthy friendship.
So then this person, again, it's resentment. They got to a fucking boiling point, and it's like not the timing's not great. Obviously, 2020 hindsight could have done it a different way.
Yeah. We do have an edit though
Okay.
that could put a little
Yes,
understanding
I
now.
love to run my mouth and then we hear the edit
And
and
we're
then I'm
like,
like,
wait a
"Well,
minute,
forget it."
foot in my mouth. He says, I love the honest feedback. And yes, I do agree with pretty much all of you, because mostly everyone said asshole.
Um,
He says, I should have mentioned that he has become a very vocal transphobic borderline
there we are.
incel, which
There
has
we
definitely
are.
crossed a line with me. Maybe that was pertinent information. Yeah, you
Yeah,
think?
I think that would have been a little helpful. That's
Yeah.
why the growing apart, people change. Yeah, I don't want to hang out with a transphobe incel.
Oh, no. So then it's understandable.
And his girlfriend probably broke up with his ass.
Yeah. I bet
She
you he
probably
didn't
dumped
even.
him.
Yeah.
Ooh, and you got fired from your job from posting J.K. Rowling like tweets.
No
Yeah.
sympathy.
Yeah.
Well, we do have one comment here. It says, you're a shit friend. You never even gave him the opportunity to improve himself. As you said, it was his issues with his girlfriend that seemed to get him down and push you away. And now he's free of that toxic relationship, not always easy to end them, and probably ready to reconnect and find himself. You just end you just ended a 2-decade-long friendship as though it meant nothing to you. Yeah, I told you to end it all of these years, but what I didn't tell you was that whether you end it or not, I'm going to dump you as a friend without warning and not caring if you're in a fragile, probably vulnerable state. I don't care if we've been friends for years. Your well being means nothing to me. It takes a lot to keep a friendship of 18 years. He deserves so much better. I think that they read this pre-transphobic.
Yeah, it's also like you don't know what people are going through.
We have another one here that says, ESH, it sounds like this friendship was a lot of take and not a lot of give from his end, but you really should have spoken up and admitted that and set boundaries much earlier. Communication isn't just important in romantic relationships. That's true.
Wow, who wrote this?
I know.
This is really good.
Very astute. And then someone else says, your timing was shit and you know it. If you reach out, it better be with a sincere apology. I don't want to say one way or another whether you should. That's up to you, bud. The only thing I think makes you ever so slightly an asshole here is by waiting so long to tell your friend this. You would have saved him and you some hurt had you done so. However, you didn't do anything wrong and you can't force a friendship. People grow apart. It's sad sometimes, but it's just how it is.
It's just how it
true.
is.
That is true.
That's really true.
Because, like I was saying, with the ebb and flows, but sometimes it's not worth fighting for the friendship,
Yeah.
especially if you have grown so far apart, which it sounds like these two have, where they just don't even have the same morals anymore.
Yeah.
And
That's a huge, huge thing. If you don't have the same values,
oh yeah,
that's a huge thing.
oh huge. I don't have any tolerance for that personally.
That truly feels like that was a big, big, big reason.
Yeah.
Of why things deteriorated and maybe why they felt like they couldn't speak up and then blew up. I don't know.
Yeah. So what do you think? Do you think that they both suck, or because it's hard to like now take away the fact that has all these really awful point of views, but like before that I was kind of more on the side that it was just bad timing of the OP, so it's hard to say.
Nobody has to be the villain. Like
right.
We always want there to be the you're wrong and you're right.
Mm-hmm.
And like sometimes it just is what it is.
Mm-hmm. I think because his friend had just gotten dumped and he was upset, you had good reason to not want to be friends with him. I kind of just think it's like an unfortunate situation, but it had to happen eventually.
Half asshole.
Half asshole.
Half asshole.
Perfect. All right. Last but not least, a listener write in. I, 26F, have been with my boyfriend, 28M, for 2 years. He comes from a wealthy family, and we were on vacation with them at a really nice resort recently. His dad is a pretty powerful and intimidating guy. When I'm around him, I'm not attracted to him in the least, but I do sometimes fantasize about him. It's just a fantasy and pretty much just because he's got like a commanding presence, which can be hot, but he himself is not hot. Anyways, one of the nights of the vacation, my boyfriend and I were going at it. I was deep in one of my fantasies, and in the middle of it, I said his dad's name by accident. Well, I kind of
Oh.
screamed it.
Oh, no, 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 no.
Well, my boyfriend stopped mid thrust and was like, "What did you just say?" Unfortunately, his dad doesn't have a common name like Mike or Tom, so there was no pretending that it was someone
It's
else.
Gaylord. His name is just Gaylord. She's screaming Gaylord. Oh,
I,
God.
I told him that I was just distracted thinking about what we had done that day all together and wasn't thinking about sex. I got confused in the moment and said his name by accident. Well, he didn't buy it. I tried to just get back into it, but he wouldn't even let me touch him. Luckily, it was the last day of the trip, so we went home the next day. He didn't talk to me at all on the plane and still has barely responded to my calls and texts. He finally said that he wants to meet up one day this week, and I'm terrified he's going to break up with me. What can I say to make this right? Should I stick to my lie or tell him the truth, even though that's so fucking weird? I'm an idiot. Help.
Literally don't say that you're fantasizing about his dad even. Oh, but he's not hot. I don't find him sexually attractive, but like I kind of want him to
I want him to
dominate
me.
me. Yeah, don't mention that, my girl. Sometimes you say the wrong name, like, or sometimes a lot of the time I'll be like, "How wouldn't that be so embarrassing if I said this name right now?" And then I'll be like, "Don't say it, don't say it, don't say it."
Yes.
I do that a lot.
No, I
Where I
know
have no
exactly what you
intention. I have no
mean.
intention of saying, but then I like
You put it in your
we
head.
grew up watching Friends where Ross says the wrong
Oh.
fucking name, and so like yeah, I put it in my head.
Well, there's also that episode of Friends too, where Chandler's like, yeah, and like when you're having sex, and like your mom pops into your head.
No,
And they were all like, no.
no, not in the way that it's like not sexual, but it's like that's a whole like Freudian thing. I don't know. We don't
Yes.
have time to
Well,
figure
and
that out.
then it would just ruin it.
Yeah, but like she has to. This is if she wants to save this relationship and marry into this wealthy family, and then
Sounds like maybe that's what she's going for.
eventually have sex with the father.
Yeah.
Then she has to lie and just say, it was just weird. You know how things pop into your head. I don't know, mid thrust. That's tough, babe. That's tough to come back from.
I do think maybe like lie till you die on this one.
You gotta
but
lie.
It sounds like he doesn't buy it. Like, how could she say it any more convincingly?
Like, oh, I was remembering at dinner when we sat down for the reservation and your dad said his name at the, at the hostess table.
Yeah, I was just like thinking of the family.
I was just thinking
had nothing to do with that.
Of that funny thing Gaylord did. Wow. Yeah, you gotta just lie, babe. You can't just say.
Can you imagine if your girlfriend said
No.
your mom's name?
No.
Now that's gonna pop up every time.
That's so gross. I would die. I mean, with her, I would be like, I'm sorry, what now?
Yeah, what would you do?
I would be like, I hope you mean a different Denise, like at work.
Yeah.
In that case, I would hope it's another person named Denise, and she's not speaking about my mother.
That's more common of a name with this one.
So like there's that, and then there's the added that it's his father, which is fucking gross, and that's really hard and crazy. And she's also admitting that she like fantasizes about him.
Yeah.
Because he's like infiltrated her psyche because he's just like a dominating presence, right?
Yeah. Where it's almost like I guess a schoolgirl fantasy with a teacher or something like that.
Okay, first of all, she needs to just go to therapy and figure this out and tell the boy. Okay, the best thing you can do as a very toxic, like take me back and be like, I'm already in therapy. I'm already figuring it out. Please just take me back. That's what she should do.
Okay.
It's
That's why
it's yucky, but that's if she has any chance.
That's why I'm wondering if honesty is the best way to go, because
Maybe.
it's like, look, I'm truly not attracted to him. It's just like I
He's a
have
lot.
this fantasy of, like I was saying before, teacher, boss, nannies, whatever, nanny and husband or whatever. You're having all these like fantasies about being a superior or an inferior, whatever it's called, to somebody. And it literally has nothing to do with your dad per se. It's just the fact that we were on vacation together. I was kind of using that as a way to get me going. I like to fantasize. Sorry, I'm not fantasizing about you.
Yeah.
Or sorry, I'm going to a whole other universe when we're fucking. That can't feel good. But, and then say, I'm realizing that this is an issue and I'm trying to go to therapy for it.
Yeah. She's clearly, using the word fantasize is tough.
Yeah.
She clearly is into the dad because he is a strong presence, like knows what he wants, has money. She mentions they're wealthy.
Yeah.
She's attracted to that.
I also think that that's something then that the son would then, because I'm guessing he probably gets that a lot, that people coming after him for his money or his family's money.
Yeah.
So then I'm wondering if then that would put a red flag. I mean, the many red flags that are on top of her head right now, but another one there where it's like, oh, so you are just attracted to me because you're hoping I'm one day going to have that wealth kind of thing.
Yeah.
Potentially. So maybe that's not a good idea to admit to that.
I think she should just change her name, change her number, move to Portugal, and never think about this again. I think
that is
really her
ending advice.
Yeah,
there.
That's the best advice I could give.
But do we think that going back to like the fantasy or whatever of like being the, nanny or whatever, do you think that requires therapy? Like, I feel like that's a very common fantasy.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think like being submissive and dominant is very normal.
Yeah.
And it's just really tough when it's
your father.
Father?
I guess the three options are move, witness protection program.
Yeah.
Because then this could get out.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys don't have the same friend group.
She's just got to lie. She's got to lie and say, I don't know. I was just thinking about something in the moment.
I had too much wine.
Yeah.
Because actually that I guess still when I'm high, because I don't drink. And so, but when I used to be drunk and having sex, I definitely would kind of go to another planet. And I wasn't able to focus as much.
Yeah.
So I think maybe like blame it on like you had a little bit too much wine. Yeah. Stick to the lie.
Oof. Yeah. Sorry, girl.
Stick to the lie.
Sorry,
and
girl.
just say that you were fucked up and you meant to scream his name, but because you were just thinking of the dad and the moms, be like, I was thinking of everyone. I was just thinking what we were doing earlier. And I was literally, it was one of those situations like you were saying earlier where it was like, don't say the name kind of thing. And it just popped out. I promise you, I'm not attracted to him. I truly, I don't know.
She's going to fuck the dad. Like, that's what's just going to happen.
Oh, that's the fourth option.
She's going to just fuck the dad.
Let him break up with you.
Become his stepmom.
And fuck the dad.
Oh my God.
Become stepmama.
Wow.
That's the real solution.
Yeah.
I wish the dad was hot.
I mean, he's got money and he's...
Yeah, it's doable.
You just got to close your eyes. That's all. I don't know. How rich is he? I'll fuck him.
Send him our way. We'll show him a good time. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. That was so fun.
Thank you for having me. This was a pleasure.
I know. I'm in New York.
Yeah. How long are you here for?
Just till Thursday.
Nice. Okay.
I was supposed to be here longer, but I'm going back for a Spotify event.
Yeah, you're just bi-coastal and just like jet setting around.
I should be bi-coastal. That would be ideal.
Yeah.
Half time here, half time there.
Yeah.
Because then I don't think I would feel so overwhelmed by like the concrete jungle of it all.
Yeah.
Because I would know that I have So that'll be a goal. Blow up the podcast. Share this. Rate, review,
Share,
subscribe.
share, like, subscribe.
Get me bi-coastal, baby.
I'm apologizing to all the paparazzi fans out there.
All the Mormons,
all the Mormons. I love Mormons. I think they're really fun. I do. I grew up with a lot of Mormons in Arizona. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
There's a lot in Arizona. And they're very nice. They just wear fun underpants. That's all.
Yeah, they sure do.
Yeah.
Lock it up, baby.
Yeah.
And I know they're swinging out there. Sounds like a great time. They're screaming their dad's names.
Woof.
Woof. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And remember, you can't spell drama without D.